Lotus Prince here. I have both a reveal of the next game I'm going to be playing, as well as an update on something I've been working on and off for the better part of a year, maybe even over a year at this point. And I think you'll be excited for both things. So, first of all, the last thing we did was finish up Little Nightmares. That game was a blast. I've wanted to play that game as soon as I started hearing about it, and playing it with Mr. Ryu ended up being a lot of fun. And the next game we're going to do is a Patreon request, so it's a viewer's choice, and it's another short-ish game, but also one that's very thought-provoking and just plain interesting to see. The name of the game is Oxenfree. I have it digitally. It's available on Steam and GOG. This is an interesting one. The basic premise is that you are going to an island for a night with, I guess I'll say your friends. One of them is definitely a friend from school. Another one is someone you kind of know, sort of, a little bit from school. A third person is someone you have bad blood with. And the fourth is your new stepbrother, whom you're just kind of getting to know. What's interesting about this game is that a lot of it focuses on the relationships among the characters. Not just between you and everyone else, but even between character B and character C, and things like that. Conversations occur a lot, and sometimes you are asked questions, or even if you aren't, you can just interject your thoughts, and when you can, almost every time you get 3 thought bubbles that can go in different directions. Or you could simply say nothing, so you technically have 4 options all the time. So there is a lot of replay value to be had here to see how you can influence different things, or even the nature of the conversations you're having. This is something where, even though the game is radically different from Heavy Rain, I'm kind of reminded of Heavy Rain, because you can play this game all sorts of different ways, but I'm just reminded of what David Cage, the creator of Heavy Rain, said, which is, you can play this game any way you want, but your first playthrough is kind of your real playthrough, because it's what you would have chosen. This one is unique to you, and there are all sorts of combinations and permutations of things you can say, so I can see how that would apply to Oxenfree as well. There are definitely reasons to keep playing Oxenfree over and over. There's sort of a reason to do that. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But I do kind of see how this playthrough is mine. This is the way I would have done it. Without checking a guide or being influenced by, oh, maybe I should go this way, rather than this is how I actually feel. What's interesting about Oxenfree is that it can also get creepy. I had heard things about that when the game first came out, but I didn't know to what degree this thing happened. I guess all I'll really say at this point is, radio. What's going on with that radio? This game has a lot of involvement with radio frequencies, because you might be able to hear and even see interesting things depending on how you adjust that dial. So we will see not only that this is a friendship simulator, kind of, but also there is a mystery to be had on the island we're exploring, and we're going to find out, first of all, what it even is, and then second of all, how and if we can solve it. So prepare for the glory that is Oxenfree in about 3 days for patrons, and about a week after that for anyone else who wishes to get in on the action. That's going to be a fantastic way to close out the year. As for starting the next year, this comes into the other thing I was going to talk about. First of all, I'll have a really cool Let's Play for January. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but that's not what I initially came to talk about. This is something that you might have an idea about as soon as I start bringing the subject up, but we'll see how this goes. It's been a long time. I think it's been 1.5 or even 2 years since I uploaded what is now my most popular video on my channel, which was a version comparison video of Resident Evil 2. how does the PS1 version compare to the GameCube version, compare to the Dreamcast, you know, etc. Now, that video was not perfect. There were some pieces of information I missed. There were a couple of pieces of information I got outright wrong. Like, I think it turns out vanilla Resident Evil 1 had a range mode after all, and I think I said it came out in the DualShock version, so there were little things I screwed up. And there were even outright versions of the game that I missed, which blew my freaking mind. One of them was totally on me. It was the demo disc. I probably should have included the demo disc. But on top of that, it turns out that there was a Game Boy Advance prototype that was never finished, which looked and played better than you'd think. And there was also a second Tiger Electronics handheld. The 9X, or it was the 9X or the 99X, or something like that. How the hell was I supposed to know? It wasn't on GameFAQs or anything, and then a couple people mentioned it, and I googled it, like, you have got to be kidding me. So, yeah, Resident Evil 2, man, the rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper. But guess what? I've actually been working on another one of those version comparison videos, and there are two reasons that I'm hyped about this. First of all, I'll tell you what it is, the actual video. I've had a lot of requests on my Resident Evil 2 video. Oh, would you consider doing a version comparison video for Resident Evil 3? I got a lot of requests for Resident Evil 3. I would like to do that in the future, but I'm not doing that one now. But the one I got probably the second most requests for is the one that I actually am doing. The original Resident Evil. And let me tell you, if you thought that there was a lot to talk about for Resident Evil 2, you're right. But you have no idea how much effort I put into researching and gathering footage for Resident Evil 1. Just like Resident Evil 2, the rabbit hole goes way the hell deeper than I thought possible. There were multiple versions I wasn't aware of, not official releases necessarily, but just, here's a thing you can do with Resident Evil 1. It was freaking insane. I've gotten help from outside people who have given me like little tips on something. Hey, did you know this? I've done internet research where I've checked various websites just by Googling to compare one version to another. Even on my own quest to capture footage, I discovered things that I didn't even see online. It's nuts. It is nuts. And on top of that, I'm also going to throw in the remake, you know, for the GameCube, which has later been released in HD. So I'm doing that too. And thank God for me that, like, it is just so fortunate that the HD releases are all pretty much the same. Like we're talking 720p versus 1080p, but it's the same game released like 5 times. Like PS3, 360, PS4, 1, PC. I'm so happy I don't have to jump into all that, because otherwise I just wouldn't have. But, yeah, there is a lot to talk about. I mean, like I said, the amount of clips I've captured, you wouldn't believe it until you saw it. I've actually held on to my Let's Play of Resident Evil 1, the raw footage without my commentary, just because I knew that I was eventually going to make this video, and why capture the entire game again when I already have perfectly good footage? So, we have that to look forward to. Early January. Why do I know it's going to be early January? Because it has to be. It must be, or else I'll be unprepared, because we have some further good news here. I'm going to be going to MagFest from January 4th to January 7th. Like I have gone for the past several years, and it's Thursday, January 4th to Sunday, January 7th at the Gaylord Hotel in Oxon Hills, Maryland, or National Harbor, depending what GPS you're using. And it's a really cool convention, or fest, Mag Festival, and Mag stands for Music and Games, so there's tons of music, there are live performances, there are board games, card games, video games. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. It's a really chill, fun place to be. But what I'm also excited about here is that I'm actually, for the first time ever, hosting a panel. I've never done this before. I have been on a panel with a bunch of different producers that was it was one giant Q&A session, so it was basically a chill, what do you think of this? Here's what I think, experience. It was really entertaining to do. But I've never hosted my own panel before. So what my panel is going to be is, if you follow Channel Awesome, then you may have heard of Linkara, the comic book reviewer, who is way the hell more internet famous than I am, because I don't even, I'm barely in that category, but he's been going strong for, I think, like a decade. It's amazing. And when he does conventions, a lot of the time, he does, he screens one of his episodes early. So it's one of the videos that you would watch on YouTube, only this time you have the benefit of him actually being right there in front of you, and you have a literal live studio audience. I don't know about, maybe not studio, but you get the idea. There's a live audience, it's fun to watch the video and enjoy yourselves with a whole crowd of people, kind of like going to a live screening of Mystery Science Theater where all the audience gets to get in on the experience at the same time. Except you're supposed to laugh at Linkara's videos. The Mystery Science Theater, you're supposed to laugh at the commentary, not necessarily the original products that they're making fun of. So my panel is going to be like that. I'm going to be airing the Resident Evil comparison episode. So, and if there's time afterward, I'll do a little bit of a Q&A as well. So I'm really excited to have that opportunity. But like I said, that means the video must be ready by then, because if not, then I can't go through with the panel. Which means that, what the hell am I doing still talking on camera? I have work to do. But in any case, I don't know when the panel is going to be or in what room, but if you're going to MagFest, then you'll be able to eventually look up the schedule. Last time I checked, it was still the 2017 schedule, so they'll put the 2018 one up later. I guess we get to find out how that's going to work if you're interested in seeing it. But yeah, super hyped about this. So again, we're going to have an amazing ending to this year with Oxenfree. That's a game that I knew would be good. I just didn't know how good. And then we're going to have an awesome start to the next year with both this this Resident Evil video that I've been working on forever, and also the next Let's Play I'm going to do after Oxenfree. I'm hyped about that one as well, and I'll announce that when we get closer to the time. So get hyped for the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018. It's going to be video game-tastic, because that's a word, I guess. Until next time, everyone.